Welcome, brothers and sisters, saints and sinners, to the Church of the Search. We're going to play some music, and we're going to take some calls, probably answer some text messages. But it's wide open tonight. If you want to talk about the search for Fenn's treasure, this is the place to be on Saturday night. So I promised you I was going to come on Saturday night. I invite all you saints and sinners, all you brothers and sisters of the search to join me on the Saturday night Church of the Search. We're going to do this once, see what happens. We might do it again sometime. Tonight's objective is to ignore all the other stuff. There aren't going to be any videos. There aren't going to be any emails, text messages, voicemails read. If you have a comment to make it in the chat room, and if you highlight it with an @ a Gypsy's Kiss, I may or may not catch it. If you want to make sure that I catch it, send a text message to 202-815-1171. As soon as I finish this next song, we'll open up the phone lines, and then you can call. And we want to talk about the search, or, it's time to make amends, brothers and sisters. If you want to talk about anything, this is the number to call, 202-815-1171. So I got a new video coming out on Monday. It's going to deal with a couple of things that I realized over the week. And the short versions are... Actually, I'm not going to tell you what the short versions are. You're going to have to wait till Monday. Don't forget, we have giveaways coming up this week. On Wednesday, if you watch World Sand Project, we're giving away 2 items. One, of course, is this white sands pendant that we put together for our viewers. And there also is a photograph of some of the sand from Mungo Beach that Michael Hool sent us from Australia. And then in A Gypsy's Kiss, the giveaway on Wednesday is a photograph of the crew, my team, crossing the Rio de los Pinos in the little red truck. So that's the giveaway. Ooh. No, the magical treasure prison, but I'm going to drink anyway. Rio de los Pinos. So if you're looking for forgiveness tonight for whatever you've done, you're welcome to it. I will grant you forgiveness if you feel like you need it. And that's what we're here for in the Saturday night Church of the Search. So it does sound kind of cultish, but it's actually fun. And no, I'm not drinking vodka. I'm drinking Romana Sambuca, and I drink it on crushed ice, and that kind of turned it a milky color. And that's how I like my Sambuca. I was going to have a little bit last night, but MTP and I put away a whole bottle of champagne before the night was out, and she was getting giggly. And so we had to give her a bunch of water before she went home. So water, yes. As a matter of fact, you're going to see me break away because I'm going to go back for seconds when it comes out. Let's see. Doug Carver started a new map for this treasure hunt. Yay, you, Doug. Way to go. K-Pro's in the house. One of our moderators. Softer side. The MTP's in the house. Dang. Look at you. Nice to see you, MTP. Let me see. Force nickname. I will give you. Yeah, if you want, you can buy forgiveness for a super chat. I guess I should do at least that, huh?
Housekeeping, you want towel?
Remember, you must like this video or forgiveness will not be granted. No. Like this video. YouTube likes it when you like the video. And the Magical Treasure Princess loves it when you like this video. Share it with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your business associates, and the entirety of your social network so that we can grow the channel. And finally, if you are not already a subscriber, this would be the ideal time to click on the subscribe button. When you see that notifications bell, ring the notifications bell, and that way when we start a live stream or we schedule a live stream, you'll be immediately informed and in the know. Bless your hearts, as they like to say at church. Yeah. Okay. Tony Russi loves Shelley. K-Pro's trying to be shy. Wow. There's a couple of turnovers there, huh? All right. I'll do it. I'm going to do it. Phone lines are open. 202-815-1171. Victor Fleming, how much to get? No, there is no fee, Victor. The individual just has to write an email and ask me to release it and then to follow the rules that we expect all our viewers to follow. It's not hard. Send an email. I do it all the time. Laura Dunlap from the Philippines. Good evening, Laura. Well, it's not evening where you're at, I'll bet. Good evening, Laura. Later on, Laura, if you want to call and tell us how things are going there with the volcano and how it's affecting you. In the meantime, we're going to play a little bit of Golden by Vibe Tracks. Wow, you guys aren't messing around. Slow down here. Hey, you've reached Toby on Saturday Night Church of the Search. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what do you want to talk about?
Good morning, Toby. It's Corey. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Wow, why is it morning in Minnesota? It's not morning here yet, brother.
Oh, no, I know. That's just what you say at church, I think.
Oh, okay. Good morning. I haven't been to church in so long. I don't recall that.
Yeah.
So what's up with you?
Totally understandable. Hey, Toby, not much. I just was watching a TV show earlier. It's called Gold Rush Whitewater, and there's a gentleman on that show. What's that? Sorry.
I know it. I'm familiar with it.
Oh, nice. Okay, so the father in that show, he's like 76, and I just thought it was interesting that he goes to work with a 5-mile hike that includes like zip lines over like canyons and stuff. So he's 76. He still gets in the water. He still goes under waterfalls and tries to get that gold. So I just thought that was interesting. That's pretty close to 80, I thought. But
yeah, so there's no doubt it can be done, assuming that you have your health. He, I think, is kind of beat up, 76, because he looks like the kind of gentleman that's worked hard all his life. He's always had hard work, and he's been a miner for most of those, and he didn't have the benefit for most of those of having a television crew following him around. I'm most interested in the relationship between he and his son, who's also on the, quote, crew, if you will. They've been together since early. They started on Gold Rush. Before they separated, they disappeared for a couple of years, and then they came back with this the new Gold Rush Whitewater. They put a lot of work into it, and you're right. They have to hike from their camp to the location of where they have it. I can't remember the name of the creek. But it's a rock-worn creek, you know. I mean, it's a hard place to be. And then they're basically dredging, and they're dredging in areas that requires, diving. And so there's a lot of risks, a lot of dangers aside from the fact. And if I remember, there's something wrong with one of his legs. So he's I don't want to say he's crippled. He's obviously not crippled. He gets around too well to be called crippled. But he does have difficulty on one side, and he makes it through, you know. But my only problem with him is he's kind of a antiquities guy. You know, he's rough around the edges, and and he's worked so hard. He's one of those guys that's he's beyond type A personality. He's he's almost dictatorial in his manner, and that makes it hard on the other crew members. They seem to survive every season, and you have to remember those programs that are on. I think they're on the Discovery Channel. They're actually making money from just doing it. So whether they break even on the gold, on the collection of gold or not, their team is going to make money just by being there. But spending a summer up in Alaska, pardon me?
It's not just pennies either, I don't think.
No. It's a pretty good living.
Well.
I mean, it's pretty good living. It's, it's the key members of the crew make more than the crew members, but they know what they're getting into for a summer, so they can walk away from a summer's worth of work with $40K, which for some people will take them through the rest of the year, So there is some benefit aside from the fact, I think the gold that they actually dredge up is gravy, right? They divide that up and they keep it to themselves, but they're actually making money as a result of the show because the show is making a lot of money. Now, it doesn't make as much money as the original Gold Rush. I'm guessing Parker is probably taking a couple $100,000 down from the show alone, aside from the gold, and I think he's now 23 or 24. He's pretty good at that.
A couple $1 million season.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I am a follower of all of those programs. I've always enjoyed them. I like the personalities. There's guys that I didn't like. I never thought, what was his name? The heavyset guy, Todd.
The Hoffman crew.
Yeah, the Hoffman crew. I was okay with a couple of the members, but Todd just was the wrong guy for that. Didn't have the leadership skills. Didn't have the technical knowledge. Was kind of winging it. So I was glad to see him leave.
Yep, and I think they're still at it.
Yeah, in different ways.
Not so much anymore, like the Whitewater, but
right. Yeah.
Down
there in Colorado. So, and I noticed that and then Rick, who was Parker's second in command, went off and formed his own crew, and he's struggling this year. But again, he knows that whether he may not be able to keep Big Red. He may not be able to pay the money that he's going to need for Big Red, but he'll make some money from the program. And I think, again, that's why I think they keep coming back. You take that money, and if they give you $100K for being in the show, you can take that, recover some of your debt, and come back another year,
Yeah, definitely. And I like that guy. He seems like a really cool dude. I like the Parker crew.
Yeah. The Parker crew's got it. They've really got it together, They're good at what they do, and they seem to be, good people. So,
definitely. Well, that was just my point. Was that Fred's
Fred's
awesome old dude that
he's
whip around.
He's definitely a Forrest Fenn kind of old crotchety dude. You could see Forrest. He's funny to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't think Indulgence is like 20 miles away from the road or anything.
No, I agree.
Obviously,
I agree.
I think for a spot, I bet it's going to be beautiful and all that good stuff.
You have to expect it. It's like, the question is whether any of us will notice it just because we're so interested in the treasure, But yeah, I watch all those programs. I watch Bering Sea Gold, Gold Rush, Whitewater, and Gold Rush. So I'm a big fan of all of them.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. They're great. Okay. Well, thanks for taking my call, Toby. Thanks for everything you do, and hope everyone's having a good night.
I think they will. Thanks for calling in.
Awesome. Hey, no problem. We'll see you later.
You take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Gold Rush fan. I like Gold Rush. This baby playing in here. See Dorello in the room. Got Elcon in the room. Got Elcon, the newest member of our member vault. Where'd the MTP go? Is she still in the room? She just dropped by to say hi. It's okay. It's not her bedtime. She should be around. K-Pro wants me to call her. All right, let's do that.
Hello.
Hi, Christy. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Well, I wanted to update you on a couple of things, but
Uh-huh.
I thought, the first one, we need to hit the press, and actually before it hits the press. So I thought, what a better night than tonight with you?
Right. Church of the Search, sister.
Yeah. So I sent you the article. Um, did you see the article about Grand Canyon of
Yeah,
Yellowstone?
I actually saw it a couple of days ago. Somebody sent one of my viewers sent it to me, and it was still being covered by the news. I didn't follow it up because there was no indication at that time when I got the first message that it was a searcher. Although when you heard when they described his behaviors, you had to believe the cat's a searcher.
Yeah, well, so I got actually this particular searcher, and I just got the okay. I said I really think your story needs to be out as a searcher,
Yeah.
um, and so I would like to see if you're okay. Does authorities know that you're a searcher? They didn't initially; they do now. I said
So
I'd like to kind of bring your
so
story out.
have you spoken with the individual?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because he's going to be watching. I want to say hi to Dave. He watches both your and our shows.
Hmm.
And he initially reached out to Mike. And I will say Mike is not as much of a social person.
Yeah.
He's reached out, and then Mike forwarded it to me and said, I think you should call this person. Um, I think I thought he was a little sarcastic, but I thought, hey, I actually had a down hour, and I messaged a person and said, Dave, and said, do you have time to talk? So he said, yeah, I do. Here's my number. And so this was before the press release. And so we talked in length, and he let me know that he was detained. He did go boots on the ground. He let me know what happened, and he said it's probably going to hit the press in the next couple of days. And so we talked kind of in length about lots of different things. I mean, if you've just been detained about, I mean, he had an incredible story about, he's a mountain man. He had rappel line, and when he had rappel line, the line wasn't long enough. So then once he got to the end of the line, he had a choice to make. He made the choice. He did the drop. Um, there was a rescue. When they got to him in a very remote area, I think he was probably more fit than the people that were rescuing him.
Hmm.
That shows you what a rugged terrain he was in. And so, and then it's the aftermath of. It's both criminal and civil charges. What happens? I don't want to get into that as much. He's just met with a lawyer, and he's working through that piece as well. So,
So they didn't detain him.
oh yes, they did.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
they did.
charged him and detained him,
Yeah,
and then released
yeah.
him on bond.
I don't, I'm assuming it's on bond. We didn't get into that level of detail. He was detained. Someone asked me on Facebook if he was treated nicely because national parks, are known not to do that. He didn't say anything negative, so I'm going to assume not. But I mean, I've spent probably a couple hours with him now
Hmm.
over a few conversations. So I would say it didn't come up. So I would assume he wasn't. He was detained. He was charged. I think there's three different charges of, gosh, and he told me the specific charges. I know one was trespassing because it was a closed area, but one was like, it was like they had to go in and get him. And I don't remember the exact terms. I'm sorry. I need to be like Cynthia and take detailed notes. I don't. I
Yeah.
just chat with people.
Yeah.
And then there was a third one, and so basically he has both a dollar charge for, I think there were 6 searchers, and it took him a while to get down to where he was. He dropped over 1,000 feet and didn't. The only area in the winter is rappelling in, and so it was rough. So
So
yeah.
which of the charges are federal charges?
From what I understand, all of them are. It's a trespassing charge. He was in the park. He was at the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone.
Hmm.
So, from what I understand, there's 3 charges. And I might not get this right. And I will say, this is my interpretation. If anything is wrong or if anything is negative, please talk to me. Don't talk to, don't make any additional charges on him. This is just the general. He he's worried. But it was one, trespassing because the area that he was in, he did pull a permit, but the particular area when he dropped, I want to say 800 feet, but his line, or the line was only
300.
800 feet, but the drop was, I might not get it right. The drop was basically a couple hundred feet more than his line was. So when he got to the end of the line, it was like, what do you do? Do you drop the line, or, that sort of thing? And I think there's some pictures in there.
Well, if
he's a very mountain type of man, so he didn't see it as a big deal. And I was like, that was the one issue I had with Solve. And I said, even if you felt comfortable and you think Forrest felt comfortable, when he talks to someone like me and says, get out there, girl, go boots on the ground, do you really think I should be repelling? And we had pretty candid conversations about his Solve, his location, that sort of
thing. So because of the weight associated with them, the normal rappel rope is around 300 feet and some change. I think it's actually meters, but it works out to between 300 and 400 feet, somewhere in there. So when you rappel, you actually have to set up, and you're rappelling further down than 300 feet. You actually have to plan the various rappels in advance, right? You have to plan that you're going to go down 300 feet at a time. And you have to have someone on belay when you're doing that. You have to have someone protecting your rappel. You don't do that alone. So aside from the fact that, A, the mountaineering part of this was not very well planned out, and the fact that he did this in winter wasn't very well planned out, what makes him think that there would be a treasure at the bottom of that canyon?
So I'm just going to kind of summarize my interpretation. I think he's like a lot of new searchers. He's within a month or two of the chase, I will say even less than that, but I'm going to be generous, interpreted the poem in a very simplistic way, with some very clever, I'm not trying to demean the Solve at all.
Right.
But some very clever ways that the interpretation happened. And then it turns into, I've got to go out. And I do think initially, like so many of us do, the initial interpretation was, I just didn't get to it because it's under snow. So I've got to go out, another time because, of I want to say confirmation bias, but I don't want to belittle anybody. So I think it was, how many people have waters that halt or that are warm, that have a canyon, that there's something brown around it, that have, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's the classic,
first
have
time.
The perfect Solve, and I don't realize that there's 9 years and 500,000 people. And it's so, I want to say tragic, because this could have been tragic, but it's so different. And it might be something that is like that, but I think this is a good example of it didn't pan out.
Well, so maybe let me ask the question a different way. Whether or not you choose to rappel down a 900-foot face in winter without an individual who knows as much about it as you, because it doesn't sound like the individual that was with him was a mountaineering expert. He was just a friend. But irrespective of making a 900-foot rappel in winter, how does he explain Forrest getting to that same location at age 80? Because there is very small likelihood that Forrest made summer or not. There's a very small likelihood.
There's a couple of things. I will correct, and I am sorry if I said the wrong thing. In this individual case, he was by himself. I don't know how rappelling works at all, because I don't believe that that's a part of the Solve, so it's not something that I have investigated. There were previous boots on the ground that had other individuals there. He was by himself. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, there seems to be that there was contact with Forrest on, he says in some way, confirmed or not, he's either looking for Forrest is looking for words, etc. And he contacted Forrest, and Forrest was very clear. It seems, I don't have confirmation of this. I have had contact on both sides, but I'm trying to be as fair as I can to both sides. That it was, no, you wait until summer, no matter where you are. I don't think Forrest wants to confirm or deny any place. Yeah. But I think Forrest will say, do not go until it is safe to be there, no matter what location it is. And of course, the northern area, that's a lot more prevalent of a response than the southern areas, in my opinion. So in my opinion, I think it was more of, it seems that the area was more easily accessible in summer than winter. And then the second thing is, and this is where we had, I won't say heated debate, we had some good discussion about, but Forrest is this veteran, this person's a veteran, they know that they are much more like mountaineer type people, they're much more understanding the land than a flatlander. And I gave my example of, but when I message him and I say, hey, I just needed a mile today and I'm going to go out, do you think I should wait? And he says, head on out. That pretty much tells you that it's not Forrest at 80 and most people think he's superhuman or godlike.
Yeah.
It's the average person, which is the 40-year-old K-Pro that's 50 pounds overweight or more, that don't think of Forrest. Think of the single mom that's overweight that could still get this.
So let me ask the question a third way.
Sure.
If Davio, who we know is an experienced mountaineer, may not be as active as he used to be, but certainly experienced. If Davio called Forrest and said, I know precisely where your treasure is, and it requires a 900-foot rappel, and I'm prepared not only in terms of equipment but in support to do that, do you think Forrest would say, yeah, that's a good idea?
In my opinion, absolutely not. But here's my opinion even more. Would Forrest confirm or deny either way? Probably not. And he would say, don't be dangerous. Even more so, he has said that the average redneck, he has said that the average this, average that. He's talking about an average person. So if you are rationalizing in your head that you need to rappel, you need to get a helicopter, you need to get a plane and jump out of the plane. I can't tell you the things that I've heard in the last 6 months, and serious things that are very private. Please don't tell anybody, but I figured out this is where you need to rappel or this or that.
Right.
In my opinion, I, K-Pro, Christy, could be someone that could find this. And I would not do any of those things because Forrest has told me directly, oh, you actually made it a mile now? You out of shape, unhealthy person, you made it a mile. Good for you. That's all you need to make it. And now it might be a mile or two, etc. There's not going to be steep terrain. There's not going to be those sorts of things, in my opinion. And he's confirmed that in many different ways. The people that rationalize, but Forrest is superhuman. Forrest is this veteran that has all these medals of honor and things. That, I think, is the wrong way to look at it. It's not Forrest. It's what he wanted as an opportunity. He wanted children. He said a child might need a little bit of help. A child is not going to rappel, hundreds of feet or, whatever that is.
Child's not going to rappel, period. I mean,
right.
Here's my advice to whoever's watching right now. If your theory requires a rappel of any distance, you're in the wrong location.
Right. Now, I do have to say, if your area requires a rappel in winter, but only requires a significantly steep hike in summer, I also believe it's the wrong area. Now, I'm in a little bit of difficult area because I have heard the particular solve. and I've already given feedback on that. I'm not going to give up any particulars of the
Yeah.
solve. I'll just say in
Yeah.
general, that I think holds no matter where you're at.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't think an 80-year-old man wants anyone, well, regardless of where he hid this treasure. I don't think his plan was to put anyone who was looking for this treasure. And my little piece today deals with the fact that at one point there were 1,000 people looking for this treasure. Now there are tens, if not hundreds of thousands. And I don't think he wants anything to happen to any one of them. So he's not going to put you at any, rappelling is a skill. It's a learned skill. You don't watch it on TV and then decide you want to go out the next day and rappel. You have to know what you're doing. Your equipment has to be very specific. And I can't imagine that was his expectation. I believe that Fenn's expectation. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say, and I'm a searcher that came after Randy. I can at least see if there was never a safety incident that Forrest might not be as cognizant or aware of safety issues. I was after Randy. So when I say to him, I just made it a mile today, and I sent him a picture and I showed everybody the picture. I was, oh my God, I was out of shape. I'm a little bit better now. I'm not perfect now, but I'm a little bit better now. I could make it a good 5 miles. That's where I look and say, he would not have put me in harm's way. Maybe before Randy, he wouldn't have been aware. He is definitely aware after Randy.
Yeah, agreed.
And now many other searchers and the situations that he has now, I just don't. I don't feel it 50% or 70%. I'm not going to put it 100, but I'm going to put it 99 point and then as many nines as you have, because I don't want to put anything 100%. Just don't do it. Kick it around with someone you trust. He said he trusts both Mike and I. Mike and I have given him feedback. Just really, and also if you're in your first month, 6 weeks of being in the hood, before you go out from a safety standpoint, understand so many of us have been there, not in a negative, derogatory, oh, we've been there, you're lesser than us. You genuinely are going through the same process. I wish they didn't allow any new searchers in until all the snow has melted, but that's not realistic.
Well, he went around, he bent the rules anyway by asking for a snow machine permit. Which is used for, the permits are given to people who are running tours and who are licensed to run tours. So he managed to get that. And the negative intent was already there. So I have a lot of problems with it. I'd love to talk to him because I'd have some questions. But
I don't think the intent is there. I can tell you genuinely, I don't want to compare him to anybody else because of people that I know and everyone knows in the hunt. I think he genuinely just thought he had it. I think he genuinely thought he was fine because he was very experienced. I don't think he has an outlandish solve. I think he has a solve that fits all the general criterias of what is water, what is halt, there's a canyon, etc. But I think it's a great example, and this is what I asked him, is it okay to tell some generic pieces of your story because you're the perfect example of what we need to not do, even if you feel it, even if whatever that is, we have to hold each other accountable, and we have to say, no, it's not something that we should be doing.
So I used to, when my children would make a mistake as they were growing up, I didn't punish them. I wasn't a guy that punished them for their mistake. We had a talk, and the talk included a sense that they knew they made a mistake, that they indicated that they were remorseful, and there was some sense that they would never do it again. But what was important to me was knowing that they knew why it was a mistake, right? And that there was intent. So when somebody tells me I lied to get a permit to do a winter search that included a 900-foot rappel, of which I was not prepared, mountain man or not, I would want to know, how did you get to making each one? What was the thought process that got you through making every one of those decisions rather than A, waiting until summer, and B, even then avoiding the 900-foot rappel? Was there another way to get
Yeah,
to it?
and for me, I will tell you, I believe there wasn't another way, but I want to say more importantly, David, if you're listening, do not have that public discussion because that will sway the legal
No, his best
case that
thing,
is happening
if
right
I
now.
was his
He needs
attorney
to
right
stay
now,
silent.
yeah, if I was his attorney right now, I would say shut up until you're in court.
Right, right. So I do think afterwards those discussions would be really good to have because I do think it shows the mindset of a searcher, but I do think it could be very detrimental for him later.
Agreed.
And I think he is not of huge financial means. I think this is going to have a significant impact on his life. It already has, and his family, etc. So I do think it's important for him to protect himself from a timing standpoint. I
All right.
still think his message and story should get out in a different way than he intends. It's not the solve. It is the process, it is the exposure, it is those sorts of things that I think is going to be particularly helpful. And I'm not sure that's where the mindset is right now.
Well, I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV, but it sounds to me like he's going to have a difficult time in court.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and he's working through that, and he's talked to me a little bit about it, and there's a negotiation process, and then there's the actual court process. He's in the negotiation process, so this is even more important timing wise. But I do think over on Facebook people were like, oh, Darwinism and thin the herd, and I do have to say I'm a little bit thin right now. I think some people know I've been a little thin the last couple of weeks. I'm very thin with roosters. I'm not as thin with people that have genuinely got themselves into I just, my heart is as big for him than any single person in this chase. He is genuine. He has a really, really large mountain in front of him, and he has done this for all the pure reasons of being an adventurer and being this and that. It wasn't, he wants to donate the chest for charity. He was worried and didn't tell the Rangers initially. He was a Fenn hunter. He now has, there's so many genuine parts of him that I cannot in my heart make fun of him or belittle him in any way. He is all of it. Every single person in the chat right now, you have done something at one level or another that is absolutely him. So just have some compassion as a human being.
You're going to need it. But both of those things, the fact that A, he didn't apply for a permit, and B, he didn't tell them that he was a Fenn searcher, that's an indication the prosecutor is going to pick that up as consciousness of guilt.
Right. Now, he did have a permit, I will say. He actually had a permit from the snowmobile, et cetera, standpoint. The rappel piece, and it's going to depend on there's some nuances here, and that's what his lawyer team he's working with right now to figure that out. And so he has both civil and criminal charges pending. So this is something that he could really be in a hard spot. So I say again, I don't want to speak too much on his behalf, just to say this is the wake-up call to all of us. Let's all take a step back and wait until spring. I mean, Mike and I, and between Cynthia and then AGK, we have so much good stuff coming out. That's all you need until the snow melts. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in and updating us on the information. I think you're right. Although as much as I'd like to have a heart-to-heart with a guy, I'm not. He can't say anything anyway on public. It wouldn't be any other way. So, okay.
Yeah.
What's the latest on the World Series of Fenn? Everything still on the move?
World Series of Fenn has actually, as of today, we've gotten to 40 RSVPs. We only had about 30 last year, and we're still gaining ground. We're going to do a push in the next 2 weeks. So we have both the escape room earlier in the day. We're going to have a little competition there. We did a guys versus girls, and of course the girls crushed the guys. So we don't want to do that again because that'll hurt their egos.
Yeah.
So we might do like a per state or something. But then there's there's going to be a ton out in the next couple of weeks that we're going to push for. And I will say, Mike had put out a premiere that was going to come out in about an hour. He's going to wait until he didn't know you were going on tonight. And so I told him, what do you mean? You weren't in chat last night for 2 hours, 2+ hours?
Right.
And he's like, no, give me the details. So there's going to be a couple of new Fenn clips that are out later today. We've had just some terrain to maneuver there, but know that all the clips to date on the interview with the documentary is going to be out later today on Cow's channel with, I think there's 14, 15, 16 clips. So that'll be out later today. We are gearing up World Series of Fenn. You're going to hear a ton about it in the next couple of weeks. I will say I am competing with some work projects. I have a huge work project that's happening right now. So we are trying to maneuver that as well. So it's all good things, but it's all happening as we speak. So,
good.
So I think Mike, because I know how much it takes to edit videos and cut this and cut that, and that's actually why there's some additional clips, because there was the cut here, the cut with one and the cut with two, and in between there was just a little, few seconds of something here and something there, and he included it, and I went, oh my, okay, we have some new clips out. So there'll be some new clips out this afternoon. And I think maybe the next couple of weeks we're going to take some time to really dig into some of those quotes, because people are like, did you know this? Did you hear that? And I don't think we've really gotten into the depth of discussion that I want to get into.
Well, it sounds interesting. I'll look forward to seeing them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in. Thank you for filling in the blanks on that particular story. And we hope it turns out well for him.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Got a voicemail. Let's see who left us a voicemail.
Hey, Toby. It's Tom. I'm not sure exactly how this works. I just caught your show just now. Anyway, I think this church is a real discussion, and I think I know just where it's at, and I think you probably know where I'm talking about, just south of
the border, south of the border. That was probably Tom Gregory, I'm going to guess. Okay. Rio Grande Joe. We're going to give him... Okay, so we got to give Rio Grande Joe his 10 minutes. Everybody keep an eye on the clock, because if you don't give him 10 minutes, he will use more than that. Rio Grande Joe. What do you say, brother?
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome to the Church of the Search.
That sounds good. I like it.
Yeah, pretty good, huh?
Welcome,
brothers and sisters. Welcome, saints and sinners. Where's Goodell Khan? He's a saint and a sinner at the same time. Oh, no. He's a saint and an Indian Scout. Sorry.
You're not all alone tonight.
Yeah. Hey, anyway, so what's up?
I was listening to those searchers getting in trouble and all that, putting themselves in danger. And that's not very good.
No, that isn't, because we don't need yet another lost or injured searcher to bring attention to the search. Right, yeah. So it was good. I'm glad he was rescued. I'm sorry to hear that his strategies, sounds just.
Yeah, because Forrest probably walked just 20 foot from his car to hide his treasure.
So. Whether it was 20 feet or a mile, the simple fact of the matter is Forrest Fenn did not rappel down a cliff face.
No.
Right?
He had a sandwich and a flashlight when he done it. So.
Yeah, he didn't rappel down a cliff face. He didn't raft down the Rio Grande at spring runoff. He didn't,
Yeah. He was wearing penny loafers even, He had no
hush puppies.
Hush puppies or whatever.
Have you ever owned a pair of hush puppies?
Not lately. I have before.
Oh, you have? Wow, I wouldn't have thought of you as a hush puppy kind of guy.
Well, mostly cowboy boots.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's what I figured Rio Grande Joe would be wearing. I don't think Rio Grande Joe would be
Yeah.
wearing one of those
Well,
gray
as I get older,
flannel
it's
hush
hard for
puppies.
me to.
Get
As I
those
get
boots
older,
on.
it's hard for me to work them boots on, and
You,
they
you,
hurt
you know
my feet. So.
what it's not. I wore boots for years, and there's a point at which they just make your feet so tired. By the end of the day, you're ready to take them off. You know.
Right. Yeah. And
And
ready for. I like comfort now that I'm getting older.
Yeah, exactly. The closer the boot jack, the better. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
but they
into not walking shoes, but what
Yeah.
do they call them? Hiking shoes, but not hiking boots. When I go hiking,
Right.
I have boots, but
Right.
the
shoes are more comfortable.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah, they're
absolutely.
great. But anyhow, that's kind of bad. To
Oh
hear.
wait, so you were going to call tonight and tell me where the Homer Brown was?
Oh yeah. Well, have you got the poem right there in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me, but I can
Okay.
have it in front of me. Hang on.
Okay.
I have to move all my giveaways for the week here. Put
Yeah,
those
we can't
over
give them all. We
there.
can't give them all the clues because me and you're gonna go get it in April.
Oh, you think, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have to cut
I'm not
you
going to
in.
do anything that doesn't require a rappel this year.
Oh no. We're gonna. He wants you to use a flashlight because that'd be the better time to go get it.
Let's open the Bible of the Church of the Search here
All
and
right.
turn to Fenn chapter
Fenn.
12, verse
Yeah.
16 through 45.
The
All right.
third stanza.
Third stanza. From there, it's no place for the meek. The end is ever drawing nigh. There'll be no paddle up your creek. Just
Right.
heavy loads and waters high. What do you got for me there?
Okay, where it says from there,
Yeah.
there'll be no place for the meek.
No, it didn't say that. It says, from there, it's no place for the meek.
Right, no place for the meek. But if you use from there, the rest of those clues down from there is no paddle up your creek. From there,
Mm-hmm.
the end is ever drawing nigh.
Mm-hmm.
From there, he's telling you that from that spot, you can see all them clues. After you pull in the home of Brown, after you park.
So you're there at the home of Brown, and you can
Right.
see the remaining clues from that point. Is that what you are suggesting?
That's what he says.
So you're
From
talking
there-
about a very small, a very diminutive treasure map.
Yeah, it's a few miles, not very big.
So tell me this. If you know your maps,
But
if you
because
know topography, and maps really, really well, you know that if a search area, if this map of his that is expressed in the poem is under a mile, let's say, there's not a map in the world that's going to give you a breakdown that detailed.
Unless you know all the clues, yeah.
You know, even if
And
you know all the clues, you know what you're going to have to do?
Yeah.
You're going to have to find the most resolute map you can find, 1 inch equals 7,500 feet or something. And even those aren't going to have, they're not going to have those landmarks on there. You
Well,
may
they
have to make them with little X's or little dots or
Yeah.
little.
But one clue will show you where all them are.
Okay.
And that's when you pull in below the home of Brown. What's he going to pull in there with? His car.
Yeah.
Okay. And he says from there,
Yeah.
no place for the meek. From there, no paddle up your creek. From there, only, heavy loads and waters high. And it says from there, if you have been wise and found the blaze,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, look quickly down. So you're still in the same spot. But he tells you to look quickly down because you can even see the blaze from there. Once you see that blaze, you look quickly down from the blaze. And that's where you gotta go.
So wait a minute. So as a matter of fact, I talked about this in my driving with Toby thing today. So he has in the past said you can't just go to the blaze. You got to go to
No.
right?
You can't. You gotta.
You're
That's why-
no. See, no, don't. Here,
Okay.
that's the argument
Go
I
ahead.
have with this. All right. He said you can't just go. You can't get to the home of Brown and then go from there to the blaze. You have to go eat one clue at a time, each in its turn. You just can't
Right.
show up at the home of Brown and then look at the whole blaze
No.
and start
No, you
ignoring
gotta-
all
you
the
gotta-
clues.
You got to start where the warm water salt.
Okay. And there's clues, and you have to follow the
next
tracks to
clue
each
is,
clue.
go down the canyon.
All right.
That's the second clue.
Okay.
And the third one is the main one, the third stanza. When you start at the warm water salt, you're driving. It's too far to walk, so you got to drive down a few miles, and then you pull your car up in below the home of Brown, and from there you can see the rest of the 5 clues.
Well, you know what?
You know what? Right in the poem.
You and I just finally agreed on something.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm with you on this. You check out the home of Brown, and the warm water salt, and then you have to drive down a little ways to the home of Brown. You know what? I'm starting to agree with people on that one. At least that's what I'm saying in public. I may not believe it. But.
When he sees the blaze from the home of Brown, he drives again.
So when he sees
it.
See? You just lost my attention right there.
He can walk to it, but it's too much weight for him to haul.
No,
45 pounds or whatever.
You know what? That is not the way he tells the story. You're making up stuff now. That's not the way he tells the story. He got out of his car, he put the treasure in his bag, blah, 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 walked back to his car, treasure chest, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing about, I cruised around in the mountains for a little while. There is none of that. Now you're starting to make stuff up.
When he put in the home of Brown, he could either drive or walk, whatever. I don't know what he done, but you can see all the clues from there.
All right.
Once you solve the
So when are we going to go get this?
And these people that are going and getting hurt and stuff, they just figure out 2 of the clues that fit and go to it.
Yeah.
And they're doing it all wrong. You got to figure this thing out.
I would love to hear, and I know this gentleman can't do any of this now because he's probably in enough trouble without going public with all of this.
Right.
But I'd love to hear his theory. I'd love to hear this theory that goes, I went to where warm water's halt, and then I broke out the rope and rappelling equipment. I don't get it. I did the driving with Toby thing last week was don't disassemble this damn poem.
Right. You can't because it's step by step.
Yeah, exactly.
You start at warm water salt.
Okay, you have 55 seconds. Give me something to work with.
Okay, and in the Thrill of the Chase, he says there's 2 main clues, and the main clues are where he rappels down that chimney from his school.
Oh my God, did you just use the word repel in a sentence in which I've been bitching for the last half hour about repelling?
Well, when he was young, he did it in the school. And the other one is when he had tea with Olga. Those are the 2 main ones.
All right.
But if you figure them out, you can figure the main one in the poem. And then you got it made. The rest of them will fit like cards.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right, my brother, thanks for calling in.
We can't give it all away. We got to go get it.
No, we got to go get it. That's right. I'll go with you at the end of April if it's not too messy and if you don't and don't bring any repelling equipment because if you have repelling equipment,
we don't need it. We'll bring a hamburger or something.
Repelling.
Anyway. But I was going to say something else. He wants the bracelet, right?
Don't get me started on that thing. We're not giving anything back.
I'm not either.
The most money that's going to be made is if the treasure remains intact.
I like the way you think about the Sotheby's and that. That'll be good.
Yeah.
I was just thinking if you
let me handle let's do that.
I would trade him for his belt buckle.
I got to take this call. It's from the Philippines.
All right, thank you.
Peace be with you.
Bye-bye. All right, bye-bye.
Hey, Laura? Oh, no. Can I call her back? I'll bet you I can't call the Philippines.
There is not enough money on your account.
Okay. I paid my account. Laura, call real quick because I can't call you back. So hold off on your calls for just a second, folks. I'm waiting for Laura to call. And she's calling from the Philippines to the Church of the Search. Skydiving with Toby. No, not at Poppy Toby's age. I was talking. I can't talk with ice in my mouth. There she is. Hey, Laura. Laura.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
So,
How are
I'm
you?
asking more than how are you doing. I mean, how are you holding up under the
Yeah.
volcanic eruptions that are striking your country there?
Oh, well, it's the Al volcano is further out away
Oh, all
from
right.
us, but we've been on alert because if it does fully erupt, we're going to experience ashfall from it. So there's
Right.
just no roundabout way about it. But yeah, right now the Al volcano it's characteristic through its history of erupting. It takes weeks to months to like really figure out
Build
what
up.
it's going to do. So yeah, it's still at alert level 4, which is basically like unrest,
Yeah.
And so they've evacuated a lot of the people out of there. They've taken the animals out of there. Like everyone's just assuming it's going to erupt, so everyone's just going away from that area.
So, are you experiencing any earthquake activity?
Down there they are, yeah. Us here towards the northern part a little bit more, no, not so much.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah, so
Well, good. We're happy to hear
everyone's
that
just
you're
watching out for it.
safe and
Yeah.
that you're not in any kind of danger at the moment.
Yeah.
What
Filipino
island?
behavior is we try to make light of situations.
Yeah.
And so when you see the news, like if we have a major flooding, eventually like a few days later, you'll see kids swimming in the flood. And it's our way of like making it light. So currently what's happening is everyone's been donating stuff down to Cavite, which is that part of that area is Cavite and Tagaytay. So where that volcano is. So now you're seeing pictures on Facebook of like people dressing up from the donated clothes of like the silly stuff that was donated. Like people donated suits and gowns. There was a wedding dress. And so people are just like making ha ha ha, for it's the way we cope with disasters like that. So
Right.
people try to always make a comedy out of it. But yeah, so
And
everyone's
so,
still.
what city do you live in?
I live in Angeles, which is basically about an hour out of Metro Manila. That should give you an idea.
North of Manila?
Yeah,
And where is the volcanic activity?
it's south of Manila.
Oh, I see. But on the same island.
Yes.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that isn't very much
Mhm.
south of Manila, that activity down there, huh?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the
so
map
I
right
have
now. That's
family
right.
down there, and they've all like just moved out to go into Manila. So
Right.
even Manila got immediate ashfall from the initial eruption. So yeah. Just
So you've got
deal with it
you've
day
got a
by
couple of
day.
plates on either side of you, both of them trenches. So that's probably what's generating all
Yeah.
that activity.
But we're really worried about, I know global warming is a hot topic for a lot of people. I'm not even going to get into a debate about it. But
Climate change is what we're using now.
climate change. But, we're worried that the Taal volcano could trigger one of the volcanoes near us, which is Arayat. So, so everyone's just trying to make light of it until something really happens. But donations and group efforts and a lot of the big major corporations are sending donations, water rations, everything towards where a lot of the people evacuated to. So everything is kind of, everyone's doing what they should be doing.
So when was the last time this particular volcano experienced some activity? It's got.
Oh my gosh! I think it was in. Oh my gosh! I want to say like in the 70s.
Yeah.
Am I right
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah,
I think something like further off like that. Let me see.
Well, don't worry about it. I didn't mean to refocus the conversation onto
1977 was the last
time.
eruption on
Yeah.
it. So 43 years. Yeah. Something. Yeah.
So what have you got on the search, or what do you want to talk about? Because I don't think you called.
Yeah, I wanted to give it seemed like a news alert. I'm sorry to hear about that David guy, that was intense. That was pretty heavy to hear from K-Pro.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone should keep safe, and the solve should definitely, I don't want to grind in on this guy. I believe K-Pro when she says he had the best of intentions. So yeah, my heart goes out to him with all the legal stuff that he has to go through. Yeah. In terms of what's going on in the search, I'm just waiting for the additional clips that K-Pro and Mike have put out. They really didn't have to do that. And I don't understand the people giving them flack for it. It's just like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. But you don't really have to go on this war path about, favoritism and, K-Pro, Mike doing this and that. Like, either don't watch it or be thankful that they've even shared it. Even Cynthia, sharing stuff they don't really need to share with the community.
So
but they're doing it.
I agree with you.
It's not like they're making thousands of dollars off of it,
I agree with you. I've always felt like I've had a running argument with some of the folks in one of the forums, and there seems to be a real sense of entitlement, like they're entitled to have what everybody else has, right? And that's not the way the world works. Yeah. That's just not the way the world works.
Right.
Right. There's no requirement for me or anyone else to share what they have with anyone else. They do it out of kindness. And I think what Mike and Christy are doing is comes from a good place. And they still have to do a documentary, so they can't do everything. Their objective was to make a documentary, not to collect a bunch of intel so that they can share it with the world. So I don't argue with their goal of making a documentary, and how they've positioned this other material. I think is a good way to do it. This is the stuff that wouldn't have made it into the documentary, so we're sharing it with you, and we're going to release it, once a week or however we're doing that. It's their material. They can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't. That's one of those things that I don't think is even worthy of debate. I literally don't even want to debate it.
Truly.
Simply because.
Truly, I agree.
So, well, I'm glad we feel the same way on this matter.
I just wanted to give a shout out to them and thanks for doing that. And Cynthia, I've said that before when I've called in on their show. But thanks for doing that, guys. Like, it's helpful. If not for anything, it's Forrest Fenn actually speaking. So, why not? And they don't even have to do it. So
I have some others.
That's all. I just, but.
I was going to say, I have some other issues with the content in Forrest's behaviors and some of the things that he was saying.
Right.
But I'm grateful it's there because I can make the comparisons to things that he said or the manner in which he said them in the past. And I think there's much to be learned.
It pushes the dialogue.
Right, exactly.
It pushes the dialogue, whether you can get anything out of it or not, whether it helps you find the treasure or not. It helps push the dialogue further and dissect at least Forrest Fenn's behavior. It's not going to be the same from years ago, obviously, but it's going to encompass at least where he stands now. And if that helps finding it, then holy moly, thank you. But if not, then it's something to do over, waiting for the snow to melt, at least for the people that are closer or more capable to go out for the next search season.
Yeah.
So,
well, it may not necessarily give you the benefit of getting you closer to the treasure, but there is a certain amount of benefit to learning things that help you to avoid wasting time, money, and effort. And I think a lot of what he says is related to that. I don't think it's going to get you closer to the treasure. So when he says there is no lead searcher, I think there's a couple of others that I'm waiting for to come out that I think aren't going to tell you where the treasure is, but they're certainly going to help you avoid wasting time, money, and effort. And I think that's a benefit. I think that's good.
I agree.
So,
I'm not poo-pooing the scrapbooks, but it feels so much better to have a video clip over reading a scrapbook. You get the tone, you get facial expressions, you get, his reactions. And so I think it's if not for anything, it's fun. It's more fun than reading a scrapbook. I don't know. That's just me. But
well,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to additional conversations with Tracy Brown over. She didn't get to see all the videos that are out there, and I think it would only be fair to pay her for her work. And I'm looking forward to entering into some kind of business transaction with her, so I can get her to look at stuff and see the things that I've always thought I've seen, but now it would be great to have someone who's a professional at this take a look at it and see what kind of conclusions they come to.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't thank you for that yet, but yeah, thank you to you and Shelley for having Tracy on, because that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of it was a lot of fun. She's a really interesting lady.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know she couldn't help those guys, but when you look at the team they put together with a guy with a dowsing and et cetera, was I couldn't see how they were going to find it with it.
It's insightful, but it's not like it's going to, one twitch of a leg is going to mean like, oh, it's in Montana and so place.
Right. Yeah.
It's not going to do that.
No, the guy.
It's more information for sure.
The most important thing I saw that night was that he's being deceptive, but he knows he's being deceptive because he has to be deceptive, right? Otherwise, if he were to sit down and simply answer every question that someone asked him and told the truth, this treasure hunt would have lasted through 2011 if we were lucky, because I'm sure his friends were asking him the same kind of questions.
I think the deceptive part wasn't a surprise to hear, but it was good to hear.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like a lot of people cling on to every single word he says, and sometimes he's just talking.
Yeah.
And so, but the deceptive part, it's not surprising because obviously he's keeping a secret. So,
right.
How far can you really go with like exposing?
I'm delivering.
It's not too big of a deal.
I'm delivering a video on Monday using some examples from that set of interviews, and the conclusion that I've come to is that his job is to protect the poem and to make sure that whoever finds the treasure follows the poem, not what he's saying right now. And
exactly.
And,
that's what the demeanor showcased.
Exactly. And one of the questions I asked her was, on the scale of deception from mischievousness to fraud, where is he? And she said he's over in the little white lie, mischievous, because that's what he has to do. So I don't think he's, when people say he's lying, there's a range of lying. Not that lying is good, but we all do it in one way or the other. But it's not lying that is creating fraud, that he's doing it in a fraudulent way. If he says, I put a treasure out there, and if that turns out to be a big lie, then I'll have a different opinion on the matter. But I don't think that's true. So when he says something, I think you can almost trust that there's a mischievous intent in any response he gives you. But it's not fraud.
Sure. Yeah, no, for sure. I agree.
Yeah. All right.
Well, yeah. I can't wait for the video to come out then. So yeah, I just wanted to check in, let you know. Yeah, it's going to happen if it's going to happen, but I'm further off. And looking forward to more videos and more discussions and more call-ins and whatnot.
We look forward to it. If you ever find yourself in New Mexico, which I know is, fun.
I will for sure do
Let
that.
Shelley and I know.
I will picture you and Shelley, and we'll have coffee or dinner or something.
A dinner? That kind of trip deserves a dinner, not a coffee.
Okay.
All right. You take care. Be safe.
All right. Thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
When she finishes a sentence with, yeah, we're going to go look for the treasure. Yeah, it reminds me of my daughters. One of my daughters, Toby Renee, the youngest, when she gets into a sentence and she kind of finishes it, she doesn't have much to say. She'll say, yeah, we were going to go to the racetrack. And then she'll pause and she'll go, yeah. And I know at that point, that's the end of whatever that thought was. That's just so cute. Pow. No, Holly, this isn't that liqueur. I don't know if it's a liqueur that K-Pro gave us, the 1573, the Chinese liqueur that's made from sorghum, was it? This is Romana Sambuca, a little Italian treat. Hey, Sassy, what are you up to?
Not much. They want me to call in the chat room, so I'm calling.
Who did we have? Did we have a problem in the chat room? Did I miss it?
No. Tony wanted me to sing "These Boots Are Made for Walking."
Yeah, these boots are made for walking. So you're going to sing "These Boots Are Made for Walking"?
I'll give him a verse.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll give him a verse.
All right, we're waiting for it.
Okay.
Ready?
You've been a messin' where you shouldn't been a messin', and you keep a thinking that you'll never get burned. I just bought me a brand new box of matches, yeah. And what I know you ain't had time to learn. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
Wow. I like that torch singer style of yours. I think that's really cool.
Thank you.
I've always liked that. I'm sorry I didn't see your offer to sing Happy Birthday to me the other night. It wasn't until after we had gotten off the air that I noticed it, but thank you for that. That was very good. Yeah. And anytime you have any recordings that you want to send us so we can play, I'd be happy to play them. I think you're really good, and I love your style. You have a great voice, but I love your style. I love that torch singer kind of style. So, always have.
I did that for my grandmother, who was an actual torch singer.
Yeah. Well, I've always had, every time there was a movie the other day that I was watching, and they cut away to a torch singer kind of woman backed by a big band kind of sound, and I remembered then how much I like that style. Every once in a while you'll see it in a movie, and I really enjoy it. I've always enjoyed that style, and it was funny because I didn't grow up. I mean, by the time I was aware of music, it was Sherry Baby was as close as I got, So I didn't do it, but my dad.
Got named after that song, so.
Oh, you did? Congratulations! Oh, how cute.
Because it was like number one the day I was born or something like that. I don't know.
That was the first song that I recall being aware of, as a teenager. Like that, I'm maybe a little bit younger, but it was like the first song that I said, "Oh, this is some cool music,"
Yeah.
So, and by the time I finished, I was in high school.
I was due on Christmas, and with the last name Skeins, my parents were going to name me Candy.
Yeah.
Candy Skeins.
Right.
Yeah. I'm really glad I was late, because then they had to pick something out.
Right, yeah. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, my voice really isn't suited for anything else. It's got to be either country or big band or torch.
No, I like I really like that big band sound. I just think it's really good, and I think more people should hear it and enjoy it, because I like it. And I suppose you're right. You could do country really well. You've got kind of that raspy country lady sound. So, I think it would do that. So that's what we were talking about. Anyway. I wrote a song called "She Played Memories" years and years ago. I wrote it. So the reason I wrote the song was because I had a crush on an older woman who played the piano, who I worked with in the summers, and I had the biggest crush on her. Her name was Helen, and I had the biggest crush on her, and I wanted to get closer to her, and so I convinced her that if I would write a song, she'd help me put music to it, because I literally my knowledge of music is limited to playing chords on a guitar. And so I thought to myself, well, if I can write a song and I can convince her to help me help me apply, score it, right? That I could just spend some time with her before I had to go back. I was still in college, and she was an employee of the state of New Mexico. Anyway, so I went to, I wrote this song, and it's called She Played Memories, and then I convinced her to help me score it, and she did, and it just came out beautiful. And unfortunately, I found out at the time that she was not just very religious. She was like, if she had a chance, she'd marry Jesus religious kind of thing. Yeah. So I knew I wasn't going to make any headway because the last thing about me was I can't
compete with Jesus.
I couldn't compete with Jesus, especially at that point in my life. I was like the opposite end of the Jesus spectrum.
Jesus.
Yeah. But anyway, I was able to convince a guy by the name of David Allen Coe. I sent it to him, and
I know that name.
Yeah, and I asked him to record it, and he was there with the Outlaws, and I can't remember all four. I remember it was David Allen Coe, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, and I can't remember the fourth one. Anyway, they were making a tour. They came to the University of New Mexico, and he played my song. He sang my song that night. Hang on, anyway. So I went away. We eventually had it copyrighted. She Played Memories. Yeah. We had it copyrighted. And I came back years, when I returned to New Mexico back in 2010, I got a call from a guy who had seen me on a TV show. And he said his name was Salazar. And he said, I need to get a hold of you. And he said, I recorded your song and I want to make sure it's okay. And I said, well, I guess I didn't have a choice in the matter. And he sent me a link. I should try to find that link sometime. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it.
Did you set up like a BMI account or anything?
I didn't. I just let it go. My only objective in the whole thing was to see if I could make headway with Helen. And when she literally scored it beautifully. She helped me get it copyrighted, and I owned the copyright to it. And that's what this guy was worried about. He didn't know if I had done that or not, but he was a friend of Helen's. They lived in Espanola, and at some point, because he had a band, at some point she told him about the song. And he started playing it, and eventually, after 30 years of doing this, it was their trademark song. It was the song that they ended every one of their gigs with. And he called, and the reason he was calling is he was worried that now that I was around, he didn't know where I was, right? The last time he knew anything about me was what she told him, and what she had told him was that I had gone off to college. That was literally, that I'd gone back to college. And so he didn't know whatever happened to me. And so when I showed up, on TV in Albuquerque and he saw it, he wanted to tell me, we've been singing this song for 30 or 40 years. It's our band's song. And at the time he called me, he was actually dying from cancer. And he wanted some kind of like forgiveness that he did that. And the guy's dying from cancer. He's played my song. And I had no forgiveness. So, of course, I said, don't worry about it. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. Because he recorded it. What was funny about it is he turned it into, it became a biker song. It became he was in a band that played rock. Or I don't know, I guess it was kind of country rock. But it was all about, he was a biker. And so it became a biker song. Let me see if I can find it. She played.
Wait. Sweet little pure Jesus loving Helen turned out to be hanging out with bikers? Is that what you're telling me?
No. They went to church. They went to the same church. And they were at opposite ends of the church-going spectrum. She played the organ in the church, right? And he played the guitar. So they were friends in that way. And everybody I knew, and we talked about this guy.
So it was an outlaw kind of situation.
Exactly. And he was like me. He told me that everybody that knew Helen had a crush on Helen. She was just beautiful. She had brown hair and green eyes, and she always rolled it up in a French roll, and just slim and beautiful, and always smiling. But man, she was all about our good Lord. And by that time, I was on my way out that door. But he told me the same thing. Yeah. I thought I had saved that link. Hang on just a sec. Let me see if I can look in my folder here. Let's see.
Do you have like an MP3 file or something?
No, I don't think I saved the file. I just hang on. I have the words. I had the words because I had to submit it for the copyright, but I don't think I saved any of that stuff. Hang on. It's been a long time. Hold on. Quote. Dead air. Sorry. Okay. I will look this up while we're. Hang on. Let me do a view. Do details. Do name. Let's see if I was smart enough to save that. Probably not. If it isn't, it's when I bought a new computer when I moved over to the house. And I took most of it, backed it up, and I didn't move it over to this side. So, sorry, guys. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Dead air. Talk to me.
Dead air.
Let's see.
Well, listen, I'll sing happy birthday to you while you look for it.
Okay, good idea. That's good. Yeah, I'd like that.
Okay. I think that the guys, I think it was Tony Rusi and William that wanted the Marilyn Monroe version, right?
Somebody sent me, after the show, somebody sent me an email with a link to that version of the Marilyn Monroe version of singing it. Yes, yeah, they want that one. Sing that one. That would be fun.
Okay, I'll sing that one.
All right,
okay.
Go for it.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. Younis. Happy birthday to you.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Happy birthday, Toby.
Thank you very much, Chassie. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, let me see if I can. I'm gonna have to. So,
if not, I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna let Joe Treasure Hunter call.
Oh, thanks. Thank you for doing that for me. I appreciate it. Thanks for setting that up. So I don't even know if I could repeat it anymore. Let me see. I left my boots and faded jeans in Taos, New Mexico, and swapped them for a coat and tie and someplace else to go. There were days that were laced with white lines on narrow blacktop roads, and there were honky-tonks around each bend and drunken episodes. Then one night, while peeling labels from empty bottles of beer, let's see. God, it's been one night while peeling labels from empty bottles of beer.
Well, if there's a link of somebody playing it, send me the link because I want to hear it.
I'm going to.
You don't have to look for it now.
He had a page, a web page on one of those like SoundForge or something like that. It wasn't SoundForge, and he had put it on there because he had been selling it for years. He had been selling the digital version of for years, and he was kind of afraid that I was going to pick up on that and ask for my share of the money. And I told him, you know what? More power to you. If you could make money on that song, you're perfectly welcome to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see. Where would that be?
I've got True Grit on TV, and the best scene of the entire movie is about to happen.
Okay, well, I won't bug you. Go watch it.
John Wayne when he says, "Fill your hands, you." Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the best scene in the whole movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love John Wayne?
So I have nothing else to say about the Fenn hunt because, it's winter and people don't listen to me anyway, obviously.
Yeah.
When I say don't risk your family, don't risk your fortune, don't risk your safety, nobody listens to me. Okay, fine, whatever, do your thing.
Well, it's good advice, but the simple fact of the matter is, people are just going to do what they want to do. I mean, look at this guy. That guy. I mean, I know. Christy has, in speaking with him, she has a very soft heart, and I know is working hard to make sure. But there were some really bad decisions made there, and
yeah. Well, and gold fever is not something to be laughed at. It's real.
Yeah.
So anyway,
so
okay, he's telling him he's going to take him and hang him. So I'm
all right. Go
off.
ahead. Thank you very much for that beautiful rendition of "Happy Birthday." I truly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Talk to you later.
All right. Have a good
Bye.
night. So somebody just wrote and asked, what was the name of the song? The name of the song is "She Played Memories," and there was only one place wherever it was ever recorded, and that was by this guy's, and I think his name was John Salazar, and he was on one. He had it on one of those SoundForge, like it wasn't SoundForge, but it was one of those. He had recorded it on there. So, and that's all I know. Salazar and "She Played Memories." So if you guys can find it, I tried looking at here, but I can't do this and run a show at the same. Hey, you've reached Toby on the Church of the Search. What's up? Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hey, Toby. It's Tom Terrific.
Oh, hey, Tom. How are you doing?
Hey, I haven't talked to you since we discussed the place that he crashed in Laos.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to, I kind of wanted to update you on a few things, and I don't know if everybody's aware of how many scrapbooks that Forrest has posted lately, but my gosh, right up till Christmas holidays, he was just on a tear.
Yeah.
And a lot of these scrapbooks are aimed at somebody out there.
You
I'm
think?
not saying they're aimed at me necessarily, or at, say, some of these other people who are writing stories and putting them on Dal's website.
Right.
But I want you to think about it. When you started looking there on the Rio Los Pinos River.
Rio Los Pinos?
What's on the south rim of the Rio Los Pinos?
Wait. South rim. So that would be on the New Mexico side, once below the border. Yeah. Above the Toltec Gorge?
Yes. What's there?
It's
a place of many tears. I mean, I'm going to tell you, if you're Spanish, you know what Las Cruces is.
Right. Yeah. So
Okay,
are you
you
referring
also
to the Cruces Basin?
Cruces Wilderness Basin.
Yeah.
Yes. Now you realize that one of his scrapbooks recently, in all of this stuff, I mean, I've been screaming this stuff for a long time. One of his scrapbooks was a picture of he called it a Spanish bowl, but it was actually a wash basin like the ones we would see in cabins up in the mountains when we were kids. I mean, if you went up to Pecos or you went up to, camp out with your grandpa.
Yeah.
Okay, so that basin, I've been saying for a long time, it was Cruces Wilderness Basin is where warm waters halt.
Yeah.
And I think that if there's a riddle in this thing, I think that line, you and I both know where it came from. I mean, Forrest didn't invent that.
Yeah.
That was actually part of the game and fish regulations, but he changed the meaning of it. And it's kind of like, well, where do warm waters halt if you're under the cross, like the Cruces Wilderness,
right,
which is the cross, and there is a big cross right in the middle of the Cruces Wilderness at Lagunitas. Look just left of Lagunitas. You'll see it. That's why it was named Cruces Wilderness.
So you're not.
Also,
I know that you're not looking in that area. Have you changed your search area?
No. that area is so large, it covers everything from Beaver Creek. Now, Beaver Creek is where it drains into. So the Cruces Wilderness Basin drains into Beaver Creek. Beaver Creek drains into the Rio Los Pinos River just below the Toltec Gorge, less than a half a mile. Were you aware of that?
I am aware of that. Yeah, I know that area
Okay.
kind of like the back of my hand now.
Right. You know that when Cynthia did this thing with Artie, the little great-granddaughter?
Yeah.
The little girl? Okay. Well, she was tongue-in-cheek. I don't know why she said this, but she says, the beaver makes his home, and she was reading the book that Forrest has done as one of his final goals was to write a children's book. So he wrote this, educating Artie.
Right.
Well, right there on the story about the beaver, now, Beaver Creek, right?
Yeah.
He builds his own home, right? He's a brown critter. They call him the brown beaver. It is also the actual animal of Canada, the brown beaver.
Uh-huh.
If you look that up. Now, he was really saying there was a big clue about Canada, and nobody could figure out what the heck he was talking about.
And you think it was the beaver and Beaver Creek?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now, you know that when you were looking over in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, I was trying to convince you for a long time that it was probably in the San Juans. If you look at the scrapbooks, he's mentioned John and San Juan, and I don't know how many John this, John that. Now, granted, that's a popular name, probably the most popular name. Okay, now, if each line in the poem is a riddle, and where warm waters halt is where the Cruces Wilderness Basin, there's been more tears shed at the foot of the cross than anywhere, right?
Agreed.
Okay, now back when I wrote on Dal's blog, and Dal told me that I've had probably 1 million hits on that Winter Thoughts from 2017.
I recall that.
4 days after I wrote that, Forrest wrote an article or a scrapbook called Bingo. Okay? Bingo. Go look it up. It's scrapbook 169. He posted that 4 days after I wrote the Winter Thoughts. He also, and I know you've read Winter Thoughts, he also had posted about church bells and train bells. And now, just imagine this for a second. Okay, what's on the front of a train?
You mean on the locomotive? Yeah.
Yeah, these old locomotives all have train bells on the front of them. He even has a train bell mounted on one of the pillars that held up the roof of San Lazaro Pueblo. He said that not only did Eric Sloan write a book on bells, but Eric wrote one about wood too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, you know that pinos in Spanish means wood. It means the wood of New Mexico or pine.
Pinos, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, pine. Yeah. Pinon and pine mean pino, okay, is the word. But then I started looking he started posting stuff about religion. Scrapbook 172, 178. Now imagine this. He called this picture in Scrapbook 178 the Graciela experience. Now you and I both know that Grace and Graciela would be the same thing, but a little girl, you know?
Yeah.
Graciela. All right. Did you know what her real name is?
No, I don't.
Gregorita.
Oh, gosh. That's
that
an old...
little girl Gregory. Now, what is my name, Toby?
Tom Gregory. So you think he's writing to you?
Man, I can show you in probably 20 scrapbooks about the Toltec Gorge, the train. I mean, there's a river that runs through it. There's a border that runs through it. And I'm telling you, I know I'm getting close.
Yeah.
I haven't busted it yet. And the reason I want this thing found, I want this thing over so I can quit being obsessed with it.
Right.
Because I think everybody is kind of, in the back of their mind, thinks they've got an edge on this. Well, I don't think I've got an edge. I'm pretty sure. And I tell you, I can go over the posts, and I'm going to write a new one called Winter Thoughts 2. and it's going to be about how the abridged scrapbooks would look based on my solution, starting at the Cruces Wilderness Basin and ending up at the Garfield Memorial Tunnel. And I have no doubt within a mile of that tunnel is where the treasure is.
Well, I look forward to the time where you get through this winter and you go recover that dang treasure, Tom.
Well, I hope somebody does. I want
put us all out of our misery.
Well, if I'm right, the only thing I'll be able to say is, hey, I may have put this together. I have at least a general solve. I do not have a down within 12 foot, but I posted a copy of something on the border of New Mexico. It's real hard to find. It's right on the ridge above the Garfield Memorial Tunnel, and it's right on the Colorado-New Mexico border.
Yeah.
And if you go to Dal's site and you type in Tom Terrific, you'll see a bunch of stuff there by Tom Gregory and Tom Terrific.
Yeah.
And that marker is brass. It's right on the border.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
And the number on it is 180. Now, how many miles did he fly Olga's ashes?
Oh, 90. Round trip. Round trip 180.
What is 90 and 90?
180.
180. Okay, that is written on that marker. Also, do not disturb. If you read it, everything that he's got is on that marker. The United States Supreme Court made a settlement, and this marker is from a printing of 1868. That's only a few years after the Civil War.
Yeah.
Okay. He also posted a picture of a chest. I think it's scrapbook 230 something, maybe 241. He had a picture of a wooden chest, and there are some presidential coins in the bottom of the wooden chest. And there's one right in the center, and it's a picture of Garfield, or excuse me, not Garfield, a picture of Ulysses S. Grant. And what is Shiloh's relation to Forrest Fenn?
He's his grandson.
That's his grandson.
Right.
All right. Now, did you know that in the Battle of Shiloh, President Garfield served under Ulysses S. Grant, and he's right in the center of that box of coins. Just do a right-click copy on it. Well, you know how you can download it and then enlarge it?
Yeah.
Tell me who the president is in the center. Why would he put that coin right in the center of that chest? Who put the coins in there? By the way, 880 coins wouldn't fit in that
box, yeah.
He says there was 880, which means something about 880 is important here, and I'm not sure what it is, but I can tell you this, that the place he crashed in Laos is the same longitude exactly as the Toltec Gorge, and it's a crevasse. And the Toltec Gorge is a crevasse.
All right, sir. Well, it sounds like it sounds as reasonable as anything I've heard. I am looking forward to hearing back from you once this thing is recovered.
Well, it's going to have to be in June.
No. And I'm not suggesting you go do that right now. I'm not suggesting anyone go up there until after the snow is melted. We've been very fortunate in this year thus far that we haven't had a heavy snowfall. So I think we're going to be able to get up there maybe the end of April, more likely as usual.
Oh no, you won't get into the spot where I filmed that video.
Yeah.
Called the Toltec Treasure of Northern New Mexico.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where I filmed that from is 10,200 feet. Now, what were the parameters of this search? That's right where that brass marker is, 10,200 feet.
Yeah, I remember that. But they're both sides of the Toltec Gorge. If you look at the VFR maps, the warning height is 10,200 feet.
Correct.
So
correct. And why would he say 10,200 and not 10,000? I mean, think about it for a second.
I'm going to let
you say 5,000 on the low side.
You tell us.
I mean,
that's why you're calling in.
I'm saying, why would he add the extra 200?
Oh, if it didn't mean anything. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Now, everything about Forrest it tells me one thing. It's the hints that are more important than the clues, because the hints define the clues. And he's laid them down in these scrapbooks. I mean, did you know that osier and means willows, and willows make baskets? And a lot of the Indians used to go up in the Toltec and gather their
willow
sticks
to make their baskets.
Correct. Yeah. So they'd make baskets out of it. Now, canasta is a word that means a little basket. It's also, there are so many hints that he's been laying down. People are they're just oblivious. They don't see. But you and I are local guys. I know that's the reason you started looking in the San Juans instead of but look how many times he mentioned San Juan or John, from John Ehrlichman all the way through, and he's got a maple leaf from the White House lawn that there's a bunch of doodles that look like stick figures.
Yeah.
What's Tom Terrific?
Like stick figure.
Stick figure.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, sir.
I rest my case.
Well, thank you for calling in. We always look forward to hearing from you, and love your ideas. And I guess I'm worried that we're in the same area, but you have a good evening.
Well, hey, let's find it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so I've got the phone on Do Not Disturb. Shadowcaster, Jim in Ohio, found the John Salazar version. He does give me credit, and the reason he gave me credit is because it's my song, but he made a couple of changes. I was trying to look where, faced with light lines, there was a honky tonks around each band. There were flashing lights and busted fists and women with no name and mornings past the night before I learned to play the game. Then one night while peeling labels from empty bottles of beer, I used to say Coors, when a sweet young girl and her guitar played Tears Out. Okay, well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a drink. I'm going to play some music while I'm doing that, and then when I get back, we will play some She Played Memories, a song written by Toby Younis, scored by Helen Lopez, and sung by John Salazar. Helen Lopez was the woman who, when I was going back for my junior year in college, and she was probably in her late 20s, but I had a major crush on. And then I found out that she loved no one but Jesus. So what could I say? So listen to this while I'm away. And then when I get back, we'll play some She Played Memories. All right, so thanks for hanging in there. So this is at broadjam.com/song/John Salazar/She Played Memories. And I want to thank Shadowcaster, Jim in Ohio, for finding this link. I will save the link. I'm also going to turn the recorder on, so we'll get a recording of it as well. And I'll make sure that I don't have any background noise. But this is a song, and as you can see, so they have kind of a song description. The song description winds up in bars that keep reminding him of his ex. Story behind the song, Love is a Bitch. And this really was a song I wrote about a woman, about a girl that I dated. So I used to spend my summers in Taos. And because that's where my family had a ranch. I was born and raised in Santa Fe, but my family had a ranch in Taos, and I'd spend my summers up there. So this is a story of a woman who, a girl, I shouldn't say, it was in high school at the time, had a relationship with. And this was a song that I wrote about her, but really I was just trying to impress Helen Lopez with how good I was at this whole romance thing. But as you can see, it's 4 minutes and 25. And when I wrote it as a country and western song, and he kind of changed it into a biker song. So the genre is rock, easy listening, country, general similar artist. Tempo is medium, lead vocal, male vocal, tranquil and peaceful. But he does give me credit lyrics, but he puts his name first. I have the copyright on it. I'll share that with you one of these days. But I have the copyright on this song. But that Toby Younis appeared after he realized I was alive. He thought I was dead. So when I came back, and I didn't even call him. I just found out about it. He called me, and he wanted to make sure I was going to take all his money up. Miss Daily Agenda, cheers, young lady. All right, so does anybody want to hear the song? I guess I should ask first. Do anybody want to hear She Played Memories? Just give me a quick yes or no. Oh, I don't think anybody wants to hear it. There's no yeses. All right. Well, I won't play it. If you guys aren't interested, it's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll record it after the show, and then we'll play it some other time when we have time and there's an interest. So, not to worry. All right, let's go back to, play it. Play that funky. Oh, okay. All right. Let's play it. Okay, so, and I can't, I'm not going to drop it. I have no desire to call it my own because I'm not singing on it. The thing is, I sung this song. I used to sing this song to, on a guitar. I had the chords. She wrote it for piano, but she gave me the chords. And I played it for years and years, and I don't know whether you guys know, Jason plays the guitar, and there was a point at which I realized that Jason had gotten so much better with the guitar than I quit playing it. So I haven't played it for years. So, all right, I'm going to turn my microphone on so I can make a recording, and then I will play She Played Memories.
And my faded jeans in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and swap them for a coat and tie and someplace else to go. I had days that were laced with white lines on narrow blacktop roads, with honky-tonks around the day and drunken episodes. Those flashing lights and them busted fists and women with no name. And morning past the night before I learned to play the game. Then one night A sweet young girl in her guitar played tears I swore were yours. 'Cause she played memories, the kind every romance to. Dark rhapsodies, the midnight rendezvous, and she played memories of songs that made me blue, sweet soft melodies that took me back to you. She stripped me bare and read my heart like it was an open book. I tried to lie as always, though her voice is all it took to bring back Sunday morning rides and sunsets by the stream and old grass beds we made love in and dreamed our silly dreams. I drank her words like they were wine and looked into her eyes. She turned her head and walked away, made me realize the longest days and the darkest nights were more than I could face. The only thing that I could do would leave that lonesome place. 'Cause she played memories, the kind every romance to. The dark rhapsodies, the midnight rendezvous, yeah, she played memories of songs that made me blue, sweet soft melodies that took me back to you. Took me back to you. Took me back to you.
So that was it. She Played Memories is written by Toby. I was just looking for the copyright in the public catalog. It shows work, music, She Played Memories, words by Toby Younis, music by John Salazar. He did rewrite the music because when I wrote it, when Helen and I wrote it, it was really a country and western song. But yeah, my name's on the copyright, so it's my song, my words, about a girl that I was in love with in high school, but was using the words to try and hook up with a woman who was, I don't know, 10 years older than me. So yeah. Yeah, it was the lyrics. I really enjoyed writing the lyrics because it was very much about what I was about at the time, because I had grown up in Santa Fe, and he changed the words to Santa Fe. He said, "I left my boots and faded jeans in Santa Fe, New Mexico," because that's where he was from. I had written, "I left my boots and faded jeans in Taos, New Mexico." I wonder if they have the. Let's see if they have the original words, or he filed it under his. Oh, I already left it. Anyway, I recorded it, so we'll play it again sometime, anytime somebody asks it. So, Shadowcaster, I don't. The last time I saw them, I had submitted them with the copyright request, and then once they sent it back to me, I just didn't have it. I have the words. I had a friend of mine recently transcribe the music. I had what I was left with, because I don't read music, and so I had I had written down the chords. It's C, F, as usual, C, F, G7, G. I left my boots and faded jeans in Taos, New Mexico. Yeah, C, F, G, G7. And so it was a simple set of chords, and that's all I could play anyway. So when I submitted it to the copyright office to get it copyrighted, I don't know how he was able to add his name to it. Yeah. I'll have to figure that out, but I don't have the original music. I imagine John may have a copy, but if I recall correctly, he passed away soon after he and I had the conversation. There's no additional music on there. And if you look at his songs, he's got everything from, this was a range of music that he played with his band, including, Spanish songs like El Gallo Blanco and Tengo Ganas de Llorar. I feel like I want to cry. Eres Tú is a traditional Spanish song that we all used to be able to play, along with Sabor a mí, Tanto Tiempo Disfrutamos. So I used to know all these things. I used to know all these songs because I grew up with them. But again, this was all Toby intelligence operation to get Helen to crush on me. But again... So maybe what I'll do is I'll rewrite the words so it's about a searcher who breaks his heart by not finding the treasure. Anyway. So yeah, as my daughter would say, yeah. But I did record it, so maybe we'll play it again sometime, or we'll start our. You know what we'll do? We'll start our Saturday night Church of the Search shows with that song. How's that? What do you think? You know what? I am going to go out on that song. How's that? All right, guys. Thanks for joining me tonight. I had fun. Glad we got the great calls. Tom Gregory, I just love hearing from you. You've got so many ideas that I can't keep up with you, as does Joe Drescher Hunter. I was really pleased to hear from Laura to make sure. Oh, you can. Did you see that? What Sassy is saying? Sassy says, "Did you know you can sing Forrest's poem to the tune of Amazing Grace?" Let's see. Amazing grace, how sweet to the sound. Let's see if I can. I'm not that good at. I used to be a good singer, but I'm not anymore. I was in a rock and roll band in high school, and played the guitar for years. But over the years, my voice is gone. As I have gone alone in there. Yeah, you could. I'm gonna have to. Let's record that together, Sassy. All right. So let's do this. Let's go out on She Played Memories, ladies and gentlemen. Brothers and sisters, saints and sinners, good night to the Church of the Search.
I left my boots and my faded jeans in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and swapped them for a coat.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me tonight. We'll do this again. It's a lot of fun. Just talking about the search. We'll keep playing it, and we got our own song now. How cool is that? So we'll hear some more of that. And check out the lyrics. The lyrics are really good. The lyrics are what did it for me, and I was hoping she would be my love. Helen would have been attracted by my poetic approach to romance, but she loved Jesus more than she did me. What the hell? Hey, you guys, have a great night. Let's go out with, it's kind of a long song. We can't do 4.5 minutes of this, so get ready for an outro.
I learned to play the game. Then one night I was peeling labels of empty bottles of beer. A sweet young girl in her guitar played tunes I swore were yours.